Hey there, my name is Megan and welcome to my channel, or welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about 5 fantasy series that I desperately need to finish, and my goal is to have these series finished by the end of 2023. So y'all will have to help keep me accountable to see if I can get these series completed. But before we go ahead and get on into the books, if you are not already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as the bell icon so you can be notified every time I post new bookish content. I try and post videos every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. Sometimes I post other days throughout the week. Also, if you... Okay, well, my cat says hello. That was very, very loud and very rude. Can you say hi? Say hi. Okay, he's a very vocal cat, so if you hear him meowing, yeah, that's my Siamese kitty. Anyway, if you guys check down in the description box below, you'll see links to my Amazon shop where I list all of my favorite books, as well as my Patreon, where you can be entered into winning book giveaways from me. The first adult fantasy series that I need to finish is the Shades of Magic trilogy by V.E. Schwab. It is so ridiculous that I have not finished this series because V.E. Schwab is one of my favorite authors of all time. In fact, I have a video where I discuss why you should read V.E. Schwab, so I'll link that up in the cards for y'all. And I am going to pick this book up in September. As of right now, that's the plan, because I saw over on Elliot Brooks' channel that she was hosting a read-along for this series, and they are reading the final book in September. So I'm like, that's perfect. I can just jump on the train. It'll help me get through it, knowing other people are reading it at the same time I am. So that is the plan for now. But if you have not read this book, it follows a world where there are multiple different Londons, and at one time these different Londons had these different magics, but it really no longer exists except in Red London. And we're following an Antari, that's like the name of the magicians in this world, as he is able to jump between these Londons, and he uses blood magic. And obviously there's some mystery surrounding the magic of these Londons, why they have changed so much. There's a portal fantasy, so there's a lot going on. I really enjoyed the first 2 books, and I'm definitely looking forward to finally wrapping this series up. Next, we have The Faithful and the Fallen Quartet by John Gwynne, and I am currently reading Valor, which is book 2. I'm currently on page 184, and I read Malice several years ago, and then I picked up Valor, got to page 300, and then put it down. And I told myself it wasn't going to be a permanent DNF, that I was just bored and needed to come back to it, and then I never did, and that was probably 2 years ago. And I just want to finish this series. I didn't dislike Malice by any shape of the imagination. I have a review for it. I'll link it up in the cards. I did a live show for it. I'll link that up there as well. I just found this series to be a bit tropey, and it was a bit more traditional fantasy than I was looking for at the time of reading. That just wasn't what I was looking for. Yes, I'm talking to you too. I'm definitely enjoying being back in this world and being back in these characters. So we are following the Banished Lands. So essentially good and evil, kind of like gods and demons, or God and a demon, the devil, I guess you could say, are going to have this epic battle at some point in the future, and that each are going to have an avatar represent them. So we are following the supposed avatar of the good god in this world, and then the supposed avatar of the demon or devil type representation in this world. And there's a lot of prophecies that surround these characters. There is a lot of upheaval going on in the kingdoms as they are going to war with one another over these prophecies, and a lot of these things are coming true. And then you throw in these magical artifacts, and it's a hot mess. So I definitely think that I can knock out this series by the end of 2023. Next, we have the Draconis Memoria series by Anthony Ryan. I still need to read the last book, which is Empire of Ashes. And this book has been on my TBR multiple times, and I've just never gotten to it. And to be honest, I would love to finish this in 2023, but I would much rather continue reading his Covenant of Steel series because I'm just way more invested in it, and I've read all of the books as they've come out, and it's fresh in my memory. So this one might take a backseat for right now. Another thing is Anthony Ryan writes very densely, and sometimes it can be a bit dry, even though the story is really good. So it does take me a long time to get through his books. I do have to concentrate while reading them. But this is a multi-perspective fantasy in a world that has dragons, and a lot of the economy for a lot of the world revolves around these dragons because they hunt them, they use their blood for multiple things, including like an energy source. And then you have these people that can ingest this blood and they get these enhanced abilities. So we're following all these characters as they are hunting this white dragon who, upon ingesting the white dragon's blood, gives that person like prophetic abilities, which is something that they need right now. So I will get to this one at some point in the future, but like I said, I'll probably continue with this other series before reading Empire of Ashes. Next, we have the Vampire Chronicles by Anne Rice. I read Interview with a Vampire, I believe, last year, and I do have a full review for that as well. Link that up in the cards. That was actually a reread for me, but it had been several years since I had read it, and I just fell back in love with Lestat and Louis and Claudia and all the characters. And it just reminded me why I like that book so much. So this is another one I plan to get to in October because it's just got that, you know, vampires and Halloween season. So I figured it would be a good time to read it. And then I don't know if I'll be able to knock out Queen of the Damned in 2023. That would be awesome if I could. But the Vampire Lestat is definitely denser than Interview with the Vampire. And I know that my library has this on audiobook, so that might help me get through it faster. But Interview with the Vampire is one of my favorite books of all time, so I'm really looking forward to reading part 2 and seeing if the Vampire Lestat kind of holds up to my opinion of book 1. And finally, we have the Founders Trilogy by Robert Jackson Bennett. The last book I need to read is Locklands. So this one I'm going to approach a little bit differently, and I know I'm not going to be able to get to it by the end of the year, but I tried reading this book when I first got it, and it had been so long since I'd read Shorefall that I was having trouble recalling what the plot, not what the plot was about, but like the little intricacies of the plot. And this world and this magic system is very complex, and it has basically the entire thing to do with the plot. So if you don't understand the magic system, you're not going to understand the plot. So what I've decided to do with this series is reread it from the beginning. So what I'm thinking about doing is rereading Foundry Side, obviously book 1. Luckily, my library has this on audio, so I might just audiobook it. Obviously going on into Shorefall, which I'll have to physically read. My library does not have this on audio. And then obviously going with Locklands, because I feel like once I have reread books 1 and 2, I will enjoy the third book way more and I won't be as confused. And then if you guys want, I can do an entire review of the trilogy or a why you should read, because I really did like the first 2 books. I've recommended it multiple times. But you guys just let me know if you want me to do individual book reviews for the series or if you want me to do a trilogy review. All right, you guys, those are 5 fantasy series that I would love to finish by the end of 2023, give or take some things. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them, any of these series, if you think that I should prioritize one series over the other, and I will see y'all in another video soon. Goodbye!